Hey guys, welcome back to another Call of Duty Modern Warfare video, and today, of course, we are going to be talking about the Friday, November the 22nd, 1.09 double-page update notes. The development team really did hype up this particular patch in that it was going to be up to 2 pages, and what we can gather just from the synopsis of the patch notes, that it really was more kind of a quality of life with some additional tweaks to items that we are quite familiar with. But we'll get into the notes here momentarily, and if you guys want to see all the specific details, as I'm just going to highlight some of the aspects of it, of course there will be a link down in the published section below. Before we get started, I would like to welcome all the new people here to the channel, along with all the returning visitors. I would encourage both of you guys now, if you haven't already, to click on that watermark down there in the bottom right hand corner to subscribe, along with notifications. And if you are watching on DTube and or BitChute, along with other alternative channels, I would encourage you guys to give me a follow there as well. The 1.09 patch for you guys on the PlayStation 4 is going to be around 12.9 gigabytes, 15 gigabytes for Xbox users, and for us on PC, 20 gigabytes. So, pretty significant patch overall. Starting it off, PlayStation 4 fans will get Special Operations Harbinger and Brimstone, along with Classic Special Operations Door Kick, 3-star rating system, and rewards. This reminds me a lot of Battlefield 5's combined arms, but I'm really more into the multiplayer. But for those who do enjoy kind of that single player with friends mode, those are going to be your changes on the PlayStation 4. For us multiplayers, we see the introduction of Realism Mosh Pit for Domination, Hardpoint Headquarters, and Kill Confirmed, along with Gun Game that has been added to our playlist. A few of the fixes worth highlighting: a bug where a player could spawn without a character model. As you can imagine, that would be a bit of a problem when spawning in on friendly vehicles. The team did fix various exploits across all maps and modes, which was something that was touched on in the last update. An issue where copying of opposing players' loadout was also copying their kill streaks. I'm glad that that has been addressed in some instances where people were taking advantage of those particular exploits. A fix that I'm glad is being addressed because it was creating a little bit of confusion, and that was the after-action report not displaying newly acquired awards. The team shortened the amount of time an execution animation plays, if for no other reason than to allow us to complete that takedown without another player coming along and then taking the kill. In our settings, you will see an always sprint option. This, of course, will be very situational depending on your playstyle and particular map, but nonetheless, it has been speculated that this may be part of the Battle Royale setup system, but nonetheless, it is an option for those who want to be able to scurry around the map. I suppose we couldn't technically call it an official Call of Duty update without it having addressed footsteps yet again. So as we see, the adjustment to volume and sound type played from crouch and walking while aiming down sights have all been readjusted. We also see a fix to dead silence for the dead silence field upgrade not lasting the correct amount of time when CDL rules are enabled. Updates to the obituary, or what we all call kill feed. They remove the avenged and save player, play on the game owner, and player rank increases, of course, to allow for more important textual information for players to have on their screen. For the CDL members and team-based players, we see some changes to private match. They added an option to disable the spawn camera, a fix for a bug where the starting flags captured option was not functioning as intended, and a fix for a bomb screen appearing blank when defusing or planting the bomb in search and destroy with realism enabled, added bomb carrier indicator. Moving on to kill streaks, we see some areas that really needed to be addressed, and one of those was that kill streaks would revert to the previous selection mid-match. Also, shield turret kill streaks could see through smoke at certain angles with the side panels of the turret. Now, speaking of smoke, thermal scopes are now able to see through smoke grenades, as well as the team added an option to disable the spawn camera. In life modes, I see they made a fix to the weapon not aiming when sprinting at the beginning of the round, but yet I've not seen any changes to what I see as the post character animation reload. So in other words, I go to reload my weapon and then the character will continue to reload the weapon as many as 2 additional times. I did show an example of this in the previous update video. For ground war players who were anticipating changes to tanks and APCs, are probably scratching their heads at this one, but what we got was a reduced damage radius and lethality of the turret. Now, I'll have to go into ground war to see what kind of change this makes, but nonetheless, probably not what people were anticipating. This patch also included fixes to progression, challenges, and missions to include single player missions. So hopefully this will allow us to see our progression as we go along and how close we are getting to completion. We have a host of perk changes to include that of the spotter perk that was not marking equipment, field upgrades, or kill streaks through walls in FFA, and a fix for spotter perk not marking UAVs and slightly brightening outlines. An EOD fix for players losing HUD elements after hacking an enemy claymore in certain scenarios has been addressed, and a quick fix perk not giving faster regeneration when earning kills with the throwing knife. Heading into weapons, we see there was a fix for the rocket launcher camos not unlocking or tracking properly, along with the Model 860 camos not unlocking or tracking properly as well. Then we have changes to the FN SCAR 17, where there was a slight increase in ADS time, reduction to barrel and bipod grip penalties. There was a fix for a white placeholder box appearing when leveling up a weapon and unlocking new attachments, so I'm looking forward to see that change. Added a description to all optics that have scope glint, and speaking of scope glint, there was a fix for the P90 ring sight, which would create a scope glint, and a fix for charms not appearing where they should on various weapons. Included in the 2-pager 1.09 patch notes, we also see leaderboard combat records and some curious audio changes in voice chat options that allow for some additional effects, like stealth comms bring the immersion of the campaign into multiplayer with added SAS radio effects to voice chat, and classic chatter. If you're feeling nostalgic, apparently, you can coordinate with your team using classic Modern Warfare radio effects. Moving along in the notes, we have some additional changes to special operations. We also have some survival changes and some new features. Added an option to hide friend requests and party invitations, along with added support for additional keyboard layouts on the PS4. We also see some stability changes. Several fixes were made to prevent crashes and improve stability. And in general fixes, we see a host of different changes to functionality, keybinds, and other options that we have within our menu settings and controls and so forth. And if you guys want to read all these specific details bullet point by bullet point, of course, I will leave a link for you guys down there in the publish section just below this video. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this look at the Friday, November the 22nd patch notes 1.09. I want to thank all your guys for your continued support here on the channel, and would encourage you now to click on that like button that helps support the channel, of course. And as you see appearing right there on the screen, that would be the channel icon along with notifications. And if you are following on BitChute and DTube, I would encourage you guys to give me a follow there as well. That way, all of you guys will have the continuing updates and information as it comes out from Call of Duty Modern Warfare.